Holy window, Batman! Hello there, my little boy wonders, and welcome back to Building the Boys. We now have issue 69 of Hachette's Build the Batmobile Tumbler. Now, we are well and truly into this one now, which is weird because it feels like it hasn't quite got out the starting blocks, but we are. Now, we are starting to build that outside of the vehicle with the window. Now, I don't think there's a lot to do in this, but no, there's not. There's nothing to do with this. I've just looked at this for the first time like, wow, there's nothing to do with this. But it's what it is. I believe we are literally just popping a window into a frame. But look, it's going to be worth it, man. It's going to be worth it. It's this one's not about the journey. This one's about the destination. At the end of this one, we'll be talking about, well, I mean, could it get worse than Jonah Hex? Apparently, yes. DC said, oh, you don't think we can do worse than Jonah Hex? Hold my beer. And they did Green Lantern, which we'll be talking about at the end of this one. Without further ado, let's get this one open. Let's get this one built. Okay, so here is everything we get inside 69. So there should be two pieces in here. Now, there are no screws. There's very little work to do. But let's have a look what we're dealing with. So we have a nice piece of metal here. This is the window frame. So that's up there. And in here should be the window. That is all you get in this one. Now, you know what? We don't even need to cut here. This is going to go in here and it's going to sit over these pins. So you can see there are pins here, 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 and here. This is going to sit over here and it's going to push onto those pins. Push to fit. No need to put any glue on this. And that is how we're looking at the end. And that, believe it or not, is issue 69 done. Yeah, okay. So it's done. I mean, it's, you know, but that's a tough one to defend, that. But it's done. Oh, dear. Okay. Look, I think the reality of it is, and I don't mind saying it, it's not a slight on it. But I think the reality of it is this is a 100-part build at best, spread over 120 parts. I think that's what's going on here, isn't it? But it's what it is. That DC license we paid for somehow. That's what we've got. If you're just sticking around with the build instructions, you did not need me to teach you how to do that, but that's okay. If you are just sticking around with the build instructions, thank you for stopping by. I hope it's been a help. But if you stick around for our bat chats, well, we're talking about the next big thing to come out of DC. Now, this was intended to kickstart the DCU, so they were going to do what Marvel were doing at this point, and they were going to kickstart DCU, and they were going to use a character to start it off, and they were going to copy the model that Marvel used by using a lesser-known character they used with Iron Man, but making a big deal about it, and launching this whole world of DC characters, and they chose to do this one. Green Lantern, or now the infamous Green Lantern. But let's go back to a time before this has come out and people are excited about this movie. Right, let's just go back to that time. Because people were excited about this movie. Finally, Green Lantern was going to make it onto the big screen. Now, I think what would have gone on is, like I said, I mentioned Marvel. I think what would happen is they'd seen what you could do with lesser-known characters. You could create this universe, and then this film would essentially sell this film, which would sell this film, and so on and so forth. And DC thought, we'll have some of that. And they were going to start their universe with Green Lantern, which kind of makes sense. I mean, it was like, okay, yeah, I can see it. So everyone wanted to play Green Lantern. I mean, a lot of people were lining up to play Green Lantern. They were, you know, really going to the studio. I want to be Green Lantern. I want to be Green Lantern. And they chose Ryan Reynolds, which at the time people were happy with. People were happy with Ryan Reynolds playing Green Lantern. This is before Deadpool, but people were happy that he was going to be the Lantern. They were really happy about it. I'm sure he was as well. So we've cast him. We cast Mark Strong as Sinestro, and it's looking good. It's got a really good cast. I mean, if you look at the cast of Green Lantern, it looks good. Yeah. But alarm bells started ringing. I mean, I can remember before this thing was released, we started hearing stuff like the one thing that we heard, and they sold this as if this was a really good thing. They really, really, really pushed this. That there was going to be no physical costume. That at no point is Ryan Reynolds going to put on a Green Lantern costume. They said the entire costume will be CGI. So his whole the whole time, the whole costume is CGI, including the mask, will be CGI. I'm like, that's a bit weird. But that's what they wanted to go with. They were like, no, the costume is going to be, it's a CGI costume. I wasn't cheap. So the budget of this movie was $220 million. $220 million. Because the nature of the character of Green Lantern is there's going to have to be a lot of CGI. There just is. This is part of the reason why you couldn't have done it before. I mean, if you know about Green Lantern, I mean, with the ring and whatnot, the lantern can make objects, anything. So to do that, CGI lends perfectly into this. So now the technology has caught up to a point where you can accurately tell the Green Lantern tale with all the bells and whistles. But it wasn't good. It just wasn't. And there was a lot going on that just conspired against it. Now, the one thing I will say for it, having gone back and watched it, and I went back and watched it specifically for this because I'd seen it once and thought, and I didn't hate it. When I first watched it, I didn't think it was the worst superhero movie ever made. And I still don't think it is. Jonah Hex is a lot worse than this. It's just not very good. I mean, this is the thing. It's not terrible by any means. It's not good. I think it is the problem. It's too much money. It's too much effort. There's too much going on for it to be as kind of bland as it is. That's the best way I can describe this movie. It's bland. It's flat. It doesn't do anything. You're waiting for this kind of, and it just doesn't come. And you're just frustrating things in it. It's a mess. It's a mess. There's no one thing. I mean, this is it. If you went, okay, well, he was really bad as Green Lantern. I don't think he is. I think he's good as Green Lantern. He's had a really bad villain. I don't think it does have a really bad villain. I think it's got an okay villain. It was an okay performance. It's an okay villain. The CGI is all right. The story is bland. It just doesn't do anything. But DC genuinely thought they had a winner. And we'll go into possibly what went wrong with it in the next one, because even though it cost $220 million to make, a lot more money than that was spent and a lot more money than that was lost. And we'll talk all about that in the next one. Until then, take care. If you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. And remember, Gotham needs us.